Yo, what's up, guys? We are going to go through some early player props for week 5. As crazy as it is, lines are already dropping. We haven't even had Monday Night Football, and you can see lines are kind of already coming out. Crazy. Lines are already coming out for the upcoming week. So we can go to Underdog. Let's start on Underdog. Underdog in general, you'll notice they tend to screw up their lines, right? So you can see here, if we look at Alvin Kamara, we have this crazy discrepancy. Underdog opens him at 58.5. If we check out PrizePicks, where did they open Kamara? They opened him at 68.5. So this is crazy, right? Like you have a 10-yard discrepancy. These sports books, they all try to set lines independently. And, sometimes they screw up pretty big, which we can see is happening right here. So Underdog tends to be the one who screws up. So I want to include Kamara's over. You could middle this if you wanted to, right? You could bet his over 58.5, his under 68.5 on PrizePicks. And then you have a 10-yard middle. If he has 59 to 68 rushing yards, you're going to win both bets. So that's the first play we can start out with. And then we can go to Dobbs, right? So I'm just going to try to move quickly. Again, these line discrepancies, you'll notice Underdog, they're not going to be up long. So if we go to Dobbs next, we can take a look at him right here, right? And you can see again, like crazy, right? Another 10-yard gap. And you have to remember, like, these players, 58.5 versus 68.5 is crazy, right? Kamara, he's not going to rush for 400 yards. He's not going to rush for 0 yards. So the difference between 58.5 to 68.5, those are the most, impactful yards. So we have 2 picks now we want to go with. And then we can just lock in a third pick. I mean, I usually don't like to go into the yellow, but this play on Kamara is so good. So maybe we just go ahead and we lock it in quickly, try to get it down before the lines move. So you can see here we have Christian Watson. We can also see if they have any TD lines up for tonight. These chili pepper ones I've looked at in general all suck, although there's maybe value on Adams or Jacobs. So if we go here, we can take a look at Jacobs. And you can see Jacobs, he's a slight favorite to score a touchdown, minus 125 on Fliff. Not a lot of books have two-way markets where they give you an over and an under. But if you, So if you look at Devontae Adams, this is the play we're going to go with. I'm going to hit his under in touchdowns. So this is going to be my 3-pick entry, over, under, under. Okay, and we'll get into the Adams play. So we got it off. So I feel good about this play. And let's go back here and let's take a look here. So this is my 3-pick entry, right? We found this crazy line discrepancy that, again, you could middle. You could hit the over on Underdog, right? Hit the under on PrizePicks. That's a really profitable strategy, middle betting. Hit the over 58.5, the under 68.5. If he has 59 to 68 yards, you win both bets. Now, this play on Adams, like a lot of people will be like, oh, why can't I play this on PrizePicks? And this is kind of the benefit, of having multiple sports books, is you're going to see like they don't have Adams, they don't have a touchdown lineup. It's only Underdog, and this plays ridiculously good. And I'll kind of show you why. So we can go through very briefly, just kind of like the math behind Underdog Fantasy. So pretty happy we got a really good pick on for tonight. But on Underdog, right, they have fixed payouts. This is the key to beating these platforms, is just kind of understanding how they work. So on Underdog, right, any 3 picks I select, overs, unders, I'm going to be getting a 6x payout. And again, if you're just tuning in, this is what I just locked in. 3 really good bets, 3 really good plays, 2 early ones for next week. And then we have Devontae Adams, no touchdown for tonight. So anyways, Underdog, right, any 3 picks, you're always getting a 6x payout. Overs, unders, whatever, right? Esports, you can go with whatever you want. You're always going to be getting the same payout. Hockey, 3 picks, 6x payout. So if you go through the math, behind Underdog Fantasy, which I've done, you can see right here, I have a spreadsheet kind of breaking down Underdog, all their payouts. But what you're going to see is basically to beat this platform, all you got to do is win these over-unders, you're higher or lower. If you can win your picks above 55% of the time, you're going to be profitable. It all boils down to win rate. which should make sense, right? This is a platform that doesn't change your payout based on the picks you select. Any 3 picks, WNBA, whatever, you're always getting a 6x payout. So it all just boils down to like, okay, can you win above 55% of your, over-unders, which isn't easy, right? Like you need a real advantage, because 55% is hard to get to. Win 55, only lose 45% of your picks. So ideally, we can win our picks 57% of the time, something like that, only losing 43% of our picks. People are always like, oh, I can win 60% of my picks. It's like, it's harder than you think to win 60%, only lose 40%. But if you could do that, your ROI on Underdog would be, 30%. So if we look at the sportsbook screen right here, again, most sportsbooks, so sportsbook screen is right here. Again, most sportsbooks, they're not going to give you two-way markets. Like most books only have odds on Adams to score a touchdown. They don't give you odds on the under, which is a little annoying because they tend to just juice the crap out of their markets. But you can see here, like for the sportsbooks that are offering two-way markets, like you can see right here, Barstool, The Score, they have him as a big favorite to go under, minus 160. If we take a look at Fliff right here, OddsJam is just kind of reading in the data. They have him as a heavy favorite to go under as well. So that's why the under is a good play. Again, if you want to bet Adams to score a touchdown, like don't take him on Underdog Fantasy. You should be taking him on Fliff or something like that. But the reason, again, this play is winning above 55% of the time is pretty simple, is we're just kind of following the data. I obviously follow a very data-driven approach, but you'll see like Davante Adams is a huge favorite across the entire betting market to not score a touchdown, right? He's minus 180 to go under. So that seems like a really good play to go with, that we can go with. So that's a good play. But anyways, we can refresh this. Maybe they've dropped some more NFL lines. Not really. I mean, you can see there's some other plays popping up. Christian Watson over 3.5 receptions. So why is this play winning above, whatever? Still a little mediocre compared to the plays we just got, which is always a good feeling. But we can go back here too. Maybe we can find some early bets on Fliff. So again, like a lot of people will be like, oh, early in the week, do I really want to start placing bets for next week? Lineups are out, stuff like that. But again, the value is not going to last. Like if we look at Kamara, we can see here, they've already moved him to 67.5, right? They just bumped his lineup 9 yards. Underdog open lines, all these sportsbooks set lines independently, market super fragmented. They open him at 58.5, and it took them a while, long enough for us to place our bets as sharp bettors to realize like, oh, we're way too low. And in general, Underdog is the one screwing up. So we got 3 really good plays, but what we can do is, it's always good to find more bets if we can. So this play is ridiculous. I mean, I already hit it. I already gave it out. But, if you look at, Myers over 4.5 right here, I locked in this at plus 110. They're moving it the wrong direction. They moved this to plus 115. No other sportsbook is even giving you plus money. Right? So you can see here, Pinnacle, which is known to be one of the sharper, smarter sports books, however you want to think about it, they have him favored. They have him minus 130 to go over. We're getting plus 115, 45 cents of improvement from the sharpest book. So again, like most bets suck. I mean, I feel like because I place a lot of bets on my live stream, people think you can just bet anything, but it's not really like that, right? Underdog has literally tens of thousands of lines up. There's all this crap you can go with. Most of these plays suck, right? We're really trying to zone in on each of these books on like those few spots where they're screwing up and do it in a data-driven way, where we know we have an edge. And here, I mean, this play's clear as day. They're giving us plus 115 on him to go over 4.5 receptions. No other book is even offering better than what, minus 105, I guess, on BetMGM. Absolutely crazy. And here we have a nice little hedge. So here's a play on Davante Adams. So Davante Adams reception that we can go with as well. So what we can do is we can go here. And again, more bets is better. Like a lot of people will be like, oh, I don't know, like, should I only be placing one bet a day? And it's just kind of like, if you have the edge, it's like a poker player. You may go to the table, your first hand may be 2-7, right? But the best poker player in the world, like if you're better than other people, you want to keep playing, right? You know you're not going to win every hand, but if you have an edge, you'll win long term. So that's the first play we can go with. And then if we want to just pair it, I mean, this is crazy, right? Plus 110, no other book, once again, offering better than like whatever, plus 102, I guess, on Caesars. But a lot of these books are ripping odds towards Adams is over. You can see FanDuel ripping to minus 120. So I'm not really sure what they're doing. All these books, Pinnacle, they've moved his line from plus 113. It looks like they just ripped it down to minus 110. So you'll see these lines move, especially in the MLB. A lot of these lines move on lineup changes. So you'll see like once official starting lineups come out for the MLB, you'll notice that's when lines start to move. Because whoever's pitching for the Phillies, I think the Phillies Braves. Yeah, that sounds correct. Sorry, I don't watch a ton of baseball. But whoever's pitching for the Phillies, when the Braves starting lineup comes out, the order, that affects the opposing pitcher, the Phillies pitcher, his strikeout props, his outs props, his walk props, right? The starting lineup affects the opposing pitcher. So the market's always moving. So long story short, it's like, who knows why the books ripped and moved Adams from a small underdog. It looks like he was plus 113 to now why odds are moving towards his over. But it's kind of like it's baked into the market. Sometimes it's lineup changes, weather, sharp action. There's a lot of reasons lines can move and prices can change. Bets can change. Sometimes it's even just a coach saying like, we're going to run the ball more. And that may affect, a player's like rushing yards line or something like that. Or a player being healthy or not healthy or good to go or not 100% good to go. But anyways, what did we want to pair this with? So we have Adams. We can also just play it as a straight bet. Might as well just play it as a straight bet. So we can lock it in for 250 on Fliff. And Fliff is a great book to have if you don't already have it. What's nice about Fliff is it's legal in basically every location. So it's kind of weird. They have these Fliff coins. You can see them right here, this gold. It's Fliff coins. That's not real money, right? So you can kind of just it's fake money. So it's kind of fun to play with. Like you can just put it on a bunch of random crap, but it's not real money, right? This is not real money. I didn't just bet $1 million. What is real money is Fliff cash. So you want to switch over to the green, but they only have a max bet size of 250. So I just hit this for the max of 250. But the profit margin on this bet is 5%. Right? So pretty solid profit margin. So we can actually go here and we can see if there's any other bets we want to lock in first. But I mean, this play seems crazy, right? We're getting plus 110, no other book. Like a lot of these sports books, including Bet Online, which is a sharp sports book known to be a smarter sports book, they have Adams heavily favored to go over. They have him as a minus 125 favorite to go over. You could even arb this, right? You could bet the over at plus 110 and the under at minus 103 and guarantee yourself a risk-free profit if you wanted to. So that's crazy. So we locked that in. And you can see lines are on the move in this Air Force game. So WinBet's a good sports book, but unfortunately it's just not legal in a bunch of locations. They're actually going bankrupt, I think. So they're just not legal in a bunch of places. But we can go over to ParlayPlay. We can look at some of these other platforms as well. And we can try to see if there's anything. So some other plays that seem good is there's a lot of plays on Hot Streak. Hot Streak is a kind of interesting sports book. So you can get Devontae Adams no touchdown here as well, it looks like. So you can see Caesars, right? We just took Adams, to not score a touchdown, right? Because he's heavily favored to not score a touchdown. Is you can see Caesars, they're giving you plus 120 on Adams to score a touchdown, right? That's an underdog price. So even though they're not giving you odds on Adams under, to not score a touchdown, under half of a touchdown, it's really clear that they think he's a big favorite to go under. They're giving you plus 120 on his over. So similar to Fliff, they would, if they had odds on the under released, they would probably have this minus 180, similar to Fliff, because they both have the same odds on the over. But again, a lot of these books, they juice the crap out of their lines because they're only giving you one-way markets. So like DraftKings minus 115, like this is a joke, right? Caesars is giving you plus 120, but DraftKings doesn't have to give you odds on an under. So you can't really see that, oh, they're juicing the crap out of their markets here. So we can go here. Hopefully it logged me in. It's been making me like log in again, but Hot Streak's a good book to have. And it's going to make me log in again, so we'll just skip over that. But what we can do, but I mean, some of these plays look good, like, you know, there's some good hedges, stuff like that. But right here, like you could arb this bet between Fliff and FanDuel. If you're like, you know, I'm not sure about Adams going over, whatever. Like if you use FanDuel, you could hit the over for 250 on Fliff. And because, you know, you're kind of day trading the sports books, you could hit the under on FanDuel for $270 and make a risk-free profit of $5. Because the books are so out of sync with one another, you're essentially, you bet the over on one book, the under on another book to guarantee yourself a risk-free profit. That's called arbitrage betting. And you can see here, here's this arbitrage bet between Fliff and FanDuel. And it's not like glamorous, but I mean, this bet took me like 20 seconds to place, you know? So you're making a risk-free profit of $5 if you use FanDuel and Fliff and you want to arb it for 2 seconds of work. And then you can see there was another book with the line at minus 103. So you could arb it for an even bigger profit. You know, you can see right here, they have the line at minus 103. So if you use them, like you can arb it for an even bigger profit. Christian Watson, this play's starting to look good on Underdog. So we could take a look at Underdog, but I don't want to keep this live stream too long. Damn, you can see lines are moving towards the under. So a lot of this early line movement, like you can see Wyoming Air Force. This game isn't till what? This game isn't until Saturday, but you can see early action. Who knows? Maybe a star player isn't going to be playing, but you can see Pinnacle has taken the odds on the under 43.5 from plus 100 to minus 134. So odds are ripping towards the under early in this game. And who knows why, right? Like, I don't know why. Maybe, you know, a star player is not playing. Maybe it's weather. Maybe all the sharp action, all these guys, you know, the sports betting syndicates with their sophisticated models started hammering the under once books first release lines because they think it's going to be a low scoring game. But regardless, you can see here, this is now an arbitrage between, you know, Pinnacle and WinBet. So one of these bets has to be good. You know, whenever arbitrage exists, like one of these bets has to be profitable. You know, you can't have an over at plus 110 and the under at minus 106. Doesn't make any sense, right? It doesn't make any sense. So one of these bets has to be good. Either FanDuel's wrong or Fliff is wrong. And if you look at the data, it's pretty clear that the plus 110 on Fliff is the crazy value play that we want to be on. So we can go back here to the arbitrage tool and see if there's anything else that we want to go with. But anyways, let's look at PrizePicks quickly. Let's look at PrizePicks quickly and let's see if we can kind of find anything. And maybe not. I mean, we've already hit some bets. So there were some good headshot plays, which I mean, not something I thought I'd be, you know, saying a lot. But if you take a look here, right, this player like BRN, I mean, it's just crazy how it's like seeing a stock at $16 on E-Trade, and then you look at Fidelity, and if we go over here to PrizePicks, they have the line at 14.5. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, that's a huge discrepancy. So that odds jam picked up. So you can see on PrizePicks, I bet the over 14.5. And the reason I did that is you can see Underdog has the line at 16. Even if you don't use Underdog, right, that's still like a data point to consider is like, okay, like, you know, Underdog has the line higher at 16. Hot Streak has the line at 15.5, also higher than PrizePicks, and they have the over heavily favored at minus 174 odds, right? PrizePicks has the line at 14.5. Hot Streak has the line at 15.5 with the over heavily favored. So it's like, okay, like that play seems pretty good. This play seems solid. Epps under 4.5 tackles. Don't really like that actually. I think we already, but anyways, you can see there's some not really a ton of value on PrizePicks. Unsurprising, early in the week, you know, only one game tonight, baseball playoffs, NHL about to start though, which will help. And then NBA, which is probably the best sport, you know, for gambling, is going to come soon. So anyways, anything else? I mean, It looks like there's some decent line discrepancies here on ParlayPlay, but I wouldn't say anything that like, makes me want to get out of bed. Can't believe I got out of bed. But if we take a look here, we can look at player receiving yards. And we can kind of take a look here at Romeo Doubs. So you can see like all the books kind of have him around, 47.5, 50.5 in general. Again, even if you don't use these books, like I don't use PointsBet really, but like I still want to see, when I'm making my bets where they have their line set, right? Because obviously if I only bet on PointsBet, like I'd be an idiot for taking Romeo under 45.5 receiving yards because I know I'm getting ripped off because all these other books have his line at 47.5, 50.5, 46.5. I just got ripped off. And you're not going to be a profitable sports bettor if you're, always getting ripped off. So that's why it's important, even if you don't use all these books, you still want to put some weight into where their lines are being set. Because even if you think you're the best sports bettor in the world and you know everything about sports, if you're just consistently getting ripped off and you're betting under 45.5 when you could get as under 52.5, 50.5 on Underdog, 52.5 on ParlayPlay, you're getting ripped off. And like, as a sports bettor, you're supposed to be looking for value in the market, not getting ripped off. So anyways, so not like a ton of plays, not enough plays to like whatever, place a bet off of. So we'll call it a day for now, but hopefully this live stream was helpful. Locked in an underdog play, locked in a Fliff play right here. And hopefully, good start to the night. So anyways, thanks so much. I'll be back on live later when there's more value.